What they gotta do? What?
It's your boy Japanese Tutor, and welcome to another lesson. Lesson's going to be a Bishop Endgame, and if you haven't watched the first part, then you should probably go watch. So it's going to be a card up there. So we're gonna go through Dvoretsky's Endgame manual. So if you want to pick a copy for yourself, go down below, and there's going to be a link to get it for yourself. I recommend everybody get it. It's an amazing book, and it's really targeted for the 2400 or 2450. And my goal is to synthesize it, take the information that they give you, and just put it in layman's terms. So without further ado, let's get started. Actually, no, stop. Like the video, please. Like it and subscribe. So, this is the position here. Take a little bit of time while I talk and read from the text to solve it. It's black to move. So the classic example of exploitation of this type of advantage is following endgame. So, or is the following endgame. This is versus Stoltz and Kashtan in 1928. And the position seems about equal, but it is not. Black has a significant advantage. In fact, first, because his king succeeds in occupying the d5 square and will therefore stand better than its opposite number, and the opposite number being the knight. And second, because the position is open. The bishop is stronger than the knight, although you would not say so at first glance. Okay, so at first look at this position, I'm like, okay, I have to get the king active. Maybe here, use the king. But it seems like, okay, maybe we might trade off these pieces, and then it's going to be on one side. The pawns are going to be on one side. So this might lead to a draw. But it's interesting to say that black has an overwhelming advantage. And if you put this into an engine, it might even disagree. So for those engine lovers out there, ha, in your face. Can't trust everything the engine spits out. Okay, so we're gonna follow the line. King f8, king f1, king e7, and these are all top moves on the computer as well, on the engine. King e2, king d6, king d3, king d5, h4, and now h4 is a move that kind of stabilizes the pawn. So we're gonna maybe play h5 and saying, okay, we're just gonna lock up the center and it's gonna be whatever. And just at first glance, it looks like a draw, but let's see how it can become a win. And so now here's the critical move. The critical move here is bishop c8. Okay. After the bishop check at a6, the black king goes in the opposite direction to the one white's king retreats to. So the black king goes, let's say the king goes this way, we go this way. The king goes this way, we go this way. Kind of cool. All right, so they play knight f3. But let's say they play a little bit something more respectable. f3, bishop a6, king e3, king c5, knight c2. And the suggested continuation here is bishop f1, g3, bishop a6. It's still not clear how black will play this position now, but still better. Black is still better here. Okay, but instead, the opponent played the somewhat natural looking knight f3. And on the computer, it says that it's a perfectly good move. Or the engine, it says it's a perfectly good move. So we play bishop a6 check. king c3. h6. So if king e3, then king c5, knight g5, attacking 2 pawns. King b4. And the a pawn is going to queen. So we can't play this. And even if the a pawn doesn't get there, let's say it gets to a2, we have a bishop protecting it, and then the king goes over here. So easy enough win. But yeah, I think the king can protect the stuff, and then the bishop can cut off the knight, so he can't get to the king and the pawn. So king c3 instead. h6. Knight d4. g6. And on g6, knight c2, king e4, and still it says that it's about equal. It's giving it a minus 0.2, which means slightly, ever so slightly winning. But this is not the case. So knight e3, top recommended move. f5, king d2, f4, knight g4, attacking the pawn, h5, knight f6 check, king f5, knight d7, we'll play here, bishop c8, very nice. This is excellent technique because on knight c5, king g4, it decides it. Okay, so very nice move. So now he is kind of forced to play knight f8, g5, and this g3. This is forced because if h takes, king takes, the knight is lost. We can see here that if we go here, we play here, and then we win, right? So king g6, the knight has to go back, and then king f7. Let's say the knight plays here. Wait, how do we win this? King f7, knight h7. King g7. Sorry. I was like, wait, this is winning. I'm sick, so I'm gonna use that as my excuse. Yeah, that was weird. Sorry about that. So here, and they have to play g3. So g3 is forced. GH, 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 king g4, knight g6, holding down the pawns, bishop f5, knight e7, so we still can't take the pawn, not yet at least, and then let's see, knight g4, knight g6, bishop f5, knight e7, bishop e6, attacking this pawn, b4, and then king captures h4, and this is pretty much game over. And in a few more moves, white resigned. And hello everybody in the Twitch chat. Yeah, very, very nice. And I just want to go over the technique one more time. So just look at this position. You really have to think to yourself, wow, it looks extremely drawn. Doesn't look like black has anything here. If anything, we're going to draw this position. So let's just play out the moves. So instead of f3, they played here, bishop a6. So easy stuff. and we were able to win. So it was very, very, very nice technique, and hopefully we can use that in our games as well. This is one of the most common end games, the knight versus bishop. Okay, so we have another position to show. So I'm just gonna throw up a new analysis board and then just wait with me here. Oh yeah, we gotta flip the board around, right? King here. There's a black knight here. And let me know in the comments section below, or if you're in the Twitch chat right now, you can tell me right now. What opening series would you like to see? The Dutch is about to finish, I think in maybe 10 more episodes. But I need some new ideas, either for white or for black, of what you want to play. I think we learned a lot, and actually, I played the Dutch Stonewall a few times over the board in over the board tournaments, and I have not lost yet, just because of the ideas that I've learned there. I taught one of my friends something. He's an IM, and he played it against another IM and absolutely destroyed him from the opening. So I'm very happy. It's an underutilized system and opening, but it's amazing. So check it out. It's extremely solid. And just let me know what you guys want to learn. Okay, so it is black to move here. So let's put black to move, and I think we are good. Let's flip the board over, flip the board like that. Okay, we're gonna load it in. Okay, so the question here is, and this is from the text, this is Karpov versus Sokolov. Sokolov is black, Karpov is white. Which pawn should black take? In principle, when you have the knight against the bishop, the task is made easier the narrower the battlefield, which basically means that if I take this pawn, the pawns are still far apart, right? These two pawns are far apart, which makes the knight's job a little bit harder in general. And thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. Hey, D-Punk. And so let me keep going. All the pawns should be on the same side. From this point of view, the logical move, knight captures a4, is in fact a draw. And that leads us to the draw. But instead, Sokolov, and he's an extremely good player, plays knight captures e4. Now, knight captures a4 just leads directly into a draw. After knight captures a4, bishop d4. And after bishop d4, king d6. King b5. And then after king b5, it goes into a whole bunch of sidelines, which we don't really need. Knight c5, bishop captures c5, take c5. Oh, he doesn't play e5, he plays h4. h6, and then king c4. King c6, e5, h5, and it is a draw. Yeah, it's a draw, completely a draw. You might say, hey, this is a very menacing pawn, but again, if this pawn wasn't on the board, yeah. But since it is on the board and stops it, so we can create some play here. So kind of cool. I like that position a lot. Anyways, not the scope of the class. We learned about pawn endgames and opposition and stuff like that last time, but kind of cool. So instead, he played knight captures e4. Wow. King b5. Knight to c5. Bishop f8. So Sokolov probably thought, okay, he is going to probably play bishop d4, and yeah, I'm just going to play knight captures a4. Because if here, I can probably try to win this pawn, or I can try to win this pawn, and I'll be okay. So like knight f5, bishop e3, king g4, coming after this pawn, king g4, and this is a draw after king b5 and here, right? And we're just gonna keep shuffling between these two pawns, right? So, oh, and then we exchange one of these this pawn for, we can give up both of these pawns honestly for that pawn once we win one of those pawns, if they let us get it. But instead, after here, bishop f8 is interesting. Knight to d7, bishop a3. Wow, thank you. King d5, bishop e7, king to d4, and then bishop d8. Saying, hey, yeah, you're going to win my pawn, but I'm going to win everything else. Okay? So you can play knight c5, but this is completely lost because of bishop c7. Holding everything. And yeah, we're going to take. Or we can play here, and maybe just win the game. So kind of cool. I like that. And think h8 is a dark square where white pawns are heading. Yeah. Hello, Logan. How are you? Okay, and yeah, this is completely winning. And if here, let's say, takes, then just bishop captures b6, and knight cannot get in. And we are queenie. Too bad. So sad. And if the king tries to go for this pawn, we can always protect it. You know, just a little preventative move first. I like this, but just you can play a6 as well. But little prevention never hurt anybody. Or maybe it did hurt somebody, they just never reported it. Knight d5, and then you can just play bishop e8 and it'll be okay. Doesn't really matter what happens here. But yeah, you get the idea. We're winning. Okay. All right, and I think we have one more position for you in this chapter. And we're done with this chapter. And then after that, we go into defensive methods. Okay, so this is kind of cool position. So let's go ahead and set it up for you. And I'm really liking these endgames because I always feel that the endgames give the most to the reader, if that makes sense. Once you study endgames are all about calculation. You mess up one move in the opening, you lose a pawn, okay, you can come back. You know? You lose one tempo in the endgame, your whole position is dead. You can go from totally winning plus 55 to minus 72. And I think that's why it's worth studying endgames, because you get into these critical situations where you really have to calculate everything. And once you can calculate everything in an endgame, I feel like calculating in different stages of the game are easier. And there's a black king here. And it is white to move. Let me just make sure this is correct. Perfect. Okay, let's load this in. Okay. So here, knight b7 is a mistake because of a4 and a3. And if you just want to see it, well, let's just put his first move. The move is supposed to be knight a4. But if you want to play here, you can't even stop the pawn. Right? Okay. Fair enough. Everybody sees this? Okay. Knight a4. King g6. And I challenge you actually to really like pause the video if you're watching this on YouTube and see if you can do this for yourself. So go back and just say, hey, what is the position? Whenever I put up a new position, challenge yourself to try to do that position first. And then see if you can come up with the same answers or maybe a better idea than what's shown in the book. And that's the only way your game is going to grow, if you really challenge yourself. So knight a4, king g6, knight c3. So basically you have to set up a fresh barrier, and this is what's in the text. So king g7, king f1, king d8. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I didn't play king f7. I played king g7, king f7, king f1, king f8, king g2, king e7, knight b5, exclamation point, a4, king f1, king d8, king g2. And this is a draw. Since black's king can advance no further, you cannot go anywhere. Right? If you go to any light square, we can't go really there, but if you go to any light square, I'm going to take with a check, and I'm winning. Right? So you have to keep shuffling around these squares. And you can make no progress. The pawn, done. It's over. So knight a4 was the move to say, okay, we have to set up a new barrier. We have to say, okay, let's not go after pawns. Let's not be hungry for the pawns. Instead, set up the barrier. Let's go calm. And then we'll force them to push the pawn. Bam. And then, oops, sorry, not king here. King here, king here. Knight f1, king f7, king f1, okay. And like this. So we force them to push the pawn. It's not really forced, but you can't really do anything else. You go back, I take. Just knight a3, king here, here. No, if you play king, well, maybe not that actually. So if you play here, then just knight c4, preventing the entry, and we're still covering a3. If he tries to come around, then we have knight d6, and we're winning because of this pawn. At any point where we can sacrifice the knight and push and make a queen. So, hope you liked today's lesson. Very short and sweet. Definitely get Dvoretsky's Endgame Manual. I really recommend it. It's just a great book. And let me know what you want to learn for next time. If you haven't watched the Dutch series, go watch it. If you haven't watched this Endgame series, you have a lot of catching up to do. And if this is your first video, just go to the YouTube, check it out, and then come back and join us. I stream live on Twitch, so go ahead and watch that.